Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me again today. My name is Erin and I am the host of Resilient Voices. Today I am speaking to Tami Andrews and a little bio on Tammi. These are her own words. First and foremost, I am a daughter of Christ. All that I have belongs to him and he will always be at the center of all I do. I am a proud wife of a United States veteran who's dedicated 30 years to serving his country. His sacrifices inspire me every day. A little over 3 years ago, I experienced the heartbreaking loss of my daughter, my only child, who is called home to Jesus. I share my brief journey in hopes of connecting with other mothers who might need to know that they're not alone in their pain. I worked as a board state bar. I worked as a Texas State Bar board certified paralegal specializing in criminal law for over 20 years before burnout took its toll. I have found joy in my purpose, again, in the beauty and network marketing industry. I love sharing tips I've learned and products that have truly helped me during menopause and as I age. Some I sell, some I don't. These are these are items that have not only improved my well-being, but have also helped me to feel beautiful and rediscover my purpose and confidence. I'm turning 60 this year and I've never felt more confident. I agree. Additionally, I'm passionate about empowering women through my business. I teach them how to embrace new opportunities, especially as we approach retirement. It's never too late to learn new ways to earn and supplement our income. And on a lighter note, I adore traveling and cooking. You'll often find snapshots of our adventures and our culinary masterpieces from my kitchen. And without further ado, let's welcome in Tammi. Okay. So, welcome, Tammi. Thank you so much for joining us today. And please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about the resilience that about your resilience journey and your grief journey.
Well, my name is Tami Andrews, and I lost my beautiful Amanda about 3.5 years ago. That came a month after losing my father, both very unexpected. Everybody always has the, oh my goodness, what happened questions. And my daddy fell and got an inoperable brain bleed, especially during the time of COVID. Everybody just kind of assumes maybe it was COVID, and it wasn't. A month later, I got a call from Amanda's neighbors that she was being taken to the hospital by ambulance. She lived about 20 minutes from me. And so the hospital's actually about 5 minutes from me. So I rushed to the hospital and was there when the ambulance pulled in. However, she had coded and they were not able to resuscitate her. And she had had a heart attack at age 38. So
I'm
I
so
tell
sorry.
people a lot of times when they ask that she used all the days that God had allotted her because we never
Mm.
know when our day is up.
Yeah, I love that. That is so true. Like it's all the days that God allotted her. I always just say it's her time. When I say about Dakota, I don't. I for me where she is, and I rather feel more inclined to talk about her life rather than her death. And then also, like, it gives me so much peace to feel that, okay, I know where Dakota is. She's with Jesus. I don't need to worry about her anymore because that is like, for me, that's like a given. I know where my daughter is. I'm very comfortable with it. And I'm looking forward to embracing her again.
Well, he only loaned them to us for a time, you
Yeah,
know, and I'm extremely grateful for the time that I had with her. I had to overcome a lot of guilt when she died, and and I had to get to that point where I could start remembering her life and not remembering her death. And that's a journey. And for everyone, it's very different, I believe.
Mhm.
But in finding my purpose, I think my purpose is to help or to share her and her life and her story, not only to help heal my heart, because I don't believe time heals all wounds. It does not. This is a wound that time can't heal, but God can comfort it. And sharing them gives me a purpose to help some other mother that may be stuck, angry at God. I was angry at God for a long time, but I believe that it's brought me closer to God than I've ever been.
Yeah. And when you say like a long time, how long?
To be angry at God,
Yeah, how long were you angry
if
at
I'm
God
being
for?
honest, some days I still am. I'm
Oh,
I'm very close to Him.
hmm.
I'm very strong in my faith,
Yeah,
but some days I still get angry at Him.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you know, why didn't I get to say goodbye? Why didn't I get, all the whys? And
Yes.
then I get angry at myself because of that guilt. And we just have to work through it. I mean, for some reason, our brains just, I think of a time that she was small and needed correcting, and maybe I reacted out of anger and frustration. Young mamas, they don't come with books.
That's so
uh,
true.
and she was my only child. And so I often said if I had another one, she was like my experiment because I was learning all the things. And when she had children, your grandbabies are just, I don't know if you got to have grandbabies,
Yes.
but uh, when my grandbabies were born, she used to pick on me and say things. I'd let them do something or whatever. Amanda would
Mhm.
say, "Well, where's the bitch that raised me? I didn't get to do that."
Same nothing with my girls. I've got three children, so none from Dakota, but yeah, that's so true.
It's like she'd say I didn't get to do that, and so it's I'm still working through that guilt that I wish I'd have done this differently, or I wish maybe I'd have made more time for this, or and you kind of beat yourself up.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I mean, I'm 7 years in now, and I still, I still think, oh, I wish I'd done this, and I think back to a particular time, and I think, oh, just wish it was different, but you can't. And apparently, um, they forgive us on the other side.
Yes,
Everything's forgiven, so it's,
we've
it's
just got
fine.
to learn to forgive ourselves.
Yes, yes. So for other mothers that are walking through this grief, what would you give? What would you tell them to hold on to or do? Or
Lean into God.
mm-hmm,
I fully believe to lean into God, lean into Him, um, lament to Him. It's
mm-hmm,
it's it's okay. Lament to Him. He's there to carry you through the darkness, to carry you through. Um, there are, I would Google research, find a Bible study that either speaks to you or speaks to the grief that you're going through, to not be afraid to tell people that today, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Not Don't be afraid to tell people not today. No, I can't today. Give yourself grace and say, well, I got up, I did the best I could today, and now I'm going back to bed, and I'm just going to cry, and I'm going to remember them, um, say their names, talk to them. Oh, I talked to
yeah.
her so much.
Yes, yes, yeah, same, same. I do. I talk to Dakota a lot. My husband's off, I spend a lot of time alone. I do my yoga, I spend a lot of time alone. I teach yoga online, and my husband said to me, sometimes aren't you lonely? You don't get lonely, you don't go out with a lot of other women, you don't mix a lot. I said, no, I'm talking to Dakota a lot, and I talk to my mom, and I talk to God. I just talk to different
Yeah.
people that maybe aren't here, but I do.
Yeah. Talk to them out loud. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not crazy, but one of the thing, it's going to happen. It's going to come in waves. The very first Easter's coming up was what makes me think of this. And Amanda was born in May. Her birthday was on Mother's Day many, many times. And so those days get especially difficult. But it was getting close to Easter, and I had gone to Walmart and was picking up a few groceries. And it was not that close to Easter. It was still some weeks out, but you know how they put stuff out, months
Mhm,
ahead of
mhm.
time. And I rounded a corner, and there was this whole, I had a grocery full of buggies. There was this whole end cap full of Cadbury eggs. That was her favorite. She would always, our joke was who would find the first one that year. And if not, I'd get her one or she'd get me one, and those Cadbury eggs. And there was a whole end cap and I just lost it. It just came over me. I could, people were looking at me like, what's wrong with the crazy lady over by the Cadbury eggs?
Oh, shame.
And just and I ended up leaving that buggy of groceries and just like getting out of the store as quickly as I could. And but give yourself grace. And sometimes you've got to that's the biggest thing. Lean into God and give yourself grace because everybody grieves differently.
Mhm, mhm,
And there's nothing wrong with you because your journey is leading you this way or that way.
mhm.
There's nothing wrong with you. That's just the path that you happen to be on.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me more about Amanda. How old are your grandbaby? How old is she?
She was 38 when I lost her, and
Yeah.
at the time, her son was 17 and her daughter was 14. Now he is 22 and her daughter is turning 18 this month. And they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They remind me so much of her. She was the biggest. I think she taught me more than I ever taught her. She had the biggest heart for underdogs and people, and she was caring and funny. She was, Miss Personality Plus with a sarcastic twist.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of sarcastic my own self, so probably where she got it. But she adored being a mother. That was her greatest joy. I mean, her kids were in soccer and baseball and basketball. And she was that mother running up and down the sidelines, just I don't care what they did. It was the greatest thing in the world. I mean, she was very vocal and loving but not just for her kid. I mean, she'd do it for every kid on the team or
Mhm, mhm.
she loved big with that big old heart of hers. And I guess she just loved and loved and loved, used it all up real quick.
Oh, yeah.
She just loved. And I couldn't be more proud of the person she was.
Mhm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Were you and your husband always based in Texas, or being a veteran, did like he move around, or?
Now he joined the army straight out of high school.
Mhm,
And so he went to Germany back in 1984 and he was stationed there for a number of years. And then he came home and he decided when his tour was up to get out of the army and but they talked him into staying in the reserves, so he did that, and then he switched over to the Air Force while he was in the reserves, and he was stationed at Barksdale for all that time. He was on the B-50, crew chief on the B-52. And so that's only, Barksdale, Louisiana is only about an hour and 15 minutes from us.
Okay.
And so that's where he served for 30 plus years.
Wow.
And now he's an operator at a power plant. So I'm
Nice.
very proud of his service.
Yeah, yeah. And how is he coping with Amanda's loss?
He has been my rock. He was not her biological father, but if you
Mhm.
ask who her daddy was,
Yeah.
it's him. Um, he has been my rock, and sometimes I forget how close they were and how much it hurts him too.
Mhm.
Um, and because he adored her, and she probably liked him most days more than me.
I think that's it. Always like that with the moms and the daughters, hey?
Yeah. I mean, you go through those difficult times when they're
Yeah.
teens and they're, uh, you go through difficult times with them. And what I think I'm most fortunate for is those phone calls. Because her kids were teens. And
Mhm.
uh, I'd get those phone calls that were, Mom, I'm sorry for everything I ever did, she's like, I am paying for my raisin right now. And we love them dearly, but sometimes we want to bop them on the head, you know. So I
Yes.
still got a couple of like little voicemails that
Oh,
she had
that's
left
precious.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, save those. Save those. I saved them. I was fortunate, our cell phone plan says that they go away after 21 days, but I guess if you listen to it enough, it stays. But after she passed away, I was like, I've got to get, so I got them saved over to a recording just so I can hear them. I can hear
Yeah.
her. My favorite one is, hey, there's no need to call me back. I was just calling to chat and say I love you. I'll
Oh,
talk to you soon. And I think that's my favorite. I play it a lot. I play it a lot.
yeah.
Um, but it's great to have. It's great that we are in this digital kind of age that
Mhm.
we can have those videos, little funny
Mhm.
things that she
Mhm.
did on TikTok,
Yeah. Oh,
stuff like that we can have that um, a generation before us could not.
yeah. Yeah. That's very true. That's so true. Um, all right. Now tell me about how did you get into Bellamy? I mean, that's like, it is Bellamy, isn't it?
It is Bellamy, yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Tell me about that. Because I mean, that's quite a change from paralegal to that. And
Yeah.
when did that transition happen? Before
Well,
Amanda?
Uh, before, no, well, sorta.
Mhm.
I got into direct sales before Amanda had passed away. She was my biggest cheerleader. I
Oh,
wish she could be here for Bellamy and the success that I have found and the products. And I just wish she could be here for it because I know that she would just absolutely adore it. Um, I actually left the legal field. I, you get into something for one reason and often it turns to something else. And I had become very profound in the legal field in representing uh, people who commit capital murder in Texas and crimes against children. And while I believe that everyone deserves a defense, that will take its toll on you. And after about 20 years, and I got appointed on another, and I've done some high profile cases, some that people have seen on uh, court TV. Um, After time, over time, that will take it's just a mental toll. And I just couldn't anymore. I just couldn't. And so I left rather abruptly. It almost felt like a nervous breakdown, just I got to get out of here. And I realized I needed to do something for a living. And so I took a job at a power plant managing the assets of the plant. I'm like, no experience, and they're like, we don't care. You got the degree, we'll teach you. And I'm like, okay. So I worked in that in the that industry. It was a plant generating electricity. I worked in that industry for 11 years. And while I was there, a friend, I got into direct sales on accident too. A friend was selling something that I was like, I wanted to support her. It looked interesting. I liked the product. And so I joined mainly for discounts. Um, but along with it, in most companies comes fees. They want a fee for this, a fee for that. I mean, and I was like, well, my goodness, now I got all these fees. And so I started sharing it and sell just to cover my expenses, basically. And I met a lady there who I dearly admire. She is very strong in her faith. And she was not, I wasn't with her, but she's the one that found Bellamy. And she was at the tippy top, tippy top. And for her to walk away from everything that she had built, I'm like, this deserves a look at. What is she doing? And so I talked to her and I went over there and I fell in love with the products. They are, just so high quality, but so is the company, and there's no fees. It is the epitome of a mom and pop. They built it from the ground up, no investors. I wasn't sure I was going to go all in, even though I joined. I knew there was no fees. I knew all these things. And I went to conference just within weeks of joining to see what it was all about. And the CEO first knew my name, welcomed me. But she got on the stage and she talked about her love for the Lord and her faith. And that was something I had always been told in direct sales. Oh, you want to steer clear of that. You could offend somebody and I was like, for once, I had somebody telling me, that in direct sales, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of be authentic, but don't do this. And be authentic, but
Yes.
don't do that. And for once, and I'm like, how am I supposed to be authentic? And for once, I had somebody stand up there and say, we're not going to charge you to promote our brand. We're just going to supply you with top-notch products, which I love. Don't love everything. Not everybody does. The manager doesn't love everything in the Walmart store, so it's okay. But I do love the business. I do love that it's no fees and all those things. And I love most of the products. I mean, just some of them aren't for me. I don't have oily, pimply skin anymore, so I can't use that and tell you about it. But I can tell you it works on mature skin that's fixing to turn 60, so I can tell you about that. And when I got with Bellamy, it grew my network, my business, everything just flourished. I give all credit to God because I believe I could be authentic for once. For the first time, I could talk about my faith, my love for the Lord, and my business just flourished to the point of replacing my full-time income. And I didn't know that. I thought that was just something people said,
That's
but
amazing.
old ladies can do it too.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're not old at 60.
Well, I don't think so, but I
Yeah.
can tell you when I was 20, I thought we were old.
I know, so much so, so much so. And you're the menopause mama.
Uh-huh.
How did all that come
How did
about as
that come
well?
about? Um, I just, they talk about over there on Instagram, which is a place I am not I'm still learning and growing over there. Facebook's where all my things are at. But I I was talking about Bellamy and things like this and how they benefit me. And what they've done for me. And I was talking about menopausal issues, and because I think that that's something that if it affects all women, whether it's
Mhm.
affected you yet is the question. But we
Mhm.
all go through it. I mean, I had gone through a time, I was young, I got married, I was somebody's wife. I had Amanda. I was somebody's mother. She grew up, and then you're somebody's grandmother, and you're empty nesting, and heaven forbid you lose your child, and you go through that. And I just felt like my purpose was completely gone. What is my purpose anymore? I didn't know. And I started talking about things that benefited me and how they benefited me. And this was one of the things that helped me so much with so many menopausal symptoms and how my skin had changed. And, one day I was doing a live just talking about all the changes that my body was going through. And I literally thought that something was wrong with me. And I went to the doctor because I thought I must have cancer, or I must have, and the doctor kind of giggled and said it's menopause and this could happen for like 10 years. And I'm like, that's not funny. That's not funny. And so I was just kind of sharing those things and what I found to naturally help my body do better. And I just one day, after the third day of talking about menopause and all that, because nobody was talking about it, I said, well, I guess you can just call me menopause mama if you want to. And then that's just how it was born.
It's stuck. It's beautiful. Yeah, because you know what? Some of the other moms in the Facebook group, the Angel Mom group, and I said, oh, Tammy, just, oh, I love her. She's a menopause mama. And I like, and then when I checked, oh, yeah, you're right. So that's beautiful. That's like, you've got your name stamped there. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with the listeners, the viewers? Um, you know, if you could leave them with one powerful thought about resilience.
Resilience. I've got to go back to God. I've got to go back to God and say, lament, pray. Um, you are what keeps your loved one alive.
Mhm.
Now, what if there's something that they wanted to do? I met a lady a couple weeks ago who lost her daughter due to a severe epileptic seizure about the same time I lost Amanda. And she actually joined Bellamy, not with me. That's how I met her, was through Bellamy.
Mhm.
But she's doing it because her daughter wanted to start a nonprofit to raise awareness for epilepsy when she was alive. So Susan is doing that same thing that her daughter wanted to do. She's doing it for her in her name. And that's where, her proceeds are going. So if there's something like that that you could do to carry on something that your child wanted to do, I think you'll find resilience. I think you'll find purpose. I
Mhm.
think you'll find a drive like nobody else has
Mhm.
to so talk to them, talk about them,
Mhm.
and you keep them alive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Well, that's why I do the yoga. Our church was so against it. I don't know, did your church allow you to do yoga or not?
Well, I do whatever I want to do. God, God, God allows me to do yoga.
I love it. I wish I'd come
The
across you 20 years ago because my
church
church,
does not tell me what to do, but God does.
God is
And,
fine with yoga.
and God is fine with yoga.
Yeah, I've battled with that for a long time, but eventually, and when Dakota, her and I started out at yoga teacher training together, and that's what keeps me going. Is I feel her with me, and I love doing my yoga.
Yeah.
Thankful to God, and yeah,
My dog, I'm sorry if you hear him
that's
barking.
okay. No, we can't. We can't. Tammy, I'm closing off now. Thank you so much for sharing with us, and we will be in touch. First of all, please tell me. I will put all your links below, but how can people be in touch with you, please?
They can find me on Facebook at
Okay.
Tami Andrews. They can find me on Menopause Mama. I'm currently building a website, tamiandrews.com. I should have that up and going probably in the next 2 weeks. So the best ways to reach out to me at either one of those places. And I'm happy to help anyone I can, even if you simply need somebody to pray for you, if you need to have someone sit and listen while you just let it out because you've lost a child, I'll be there.
It's beautiful. Tammy, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you,